never made sense to me. The way I saw it seemed more like you attain a high level of spirituality that you weren't able to attain in this life. Just wanted to
It's
get your
both.
thoughts.
It's both. It's definitely not one or the other. So, the concept of this world is a fluctuating state of flawed, of conflict, of difficulty, of change, of hardship, of sadness, sickness, all of these type of things, right? The one who becomes a positive, compassionate, selfless person of Scripture in that world, that person is purifying themselves from this world. And then by that right, by virtue of that purification, earning a place in heaven, in a spiritual place. So in heaven, there are desires, but the desires are not a base like these. Like, so for example, the famous one is, I've heard you have these many virgins in heaven. What is that all about, right? You will hear this if you talk to any considerable amount of people about your religion. Number one, the number 72 is not founded in any ayah, and the hadith has got issues with it, right? Number two, there is a factual reality of a group that is in the Quran, of a group of beautiful women who are created in heaven. They're not from the earth. They're not souls of dead women who went to heaven. They're not. They're just entities that are created in heaven. And they are not flawed in any way, right? And when we say flaw, that's physical, mental, spiritual, everything, right? All the flaws that we have here, that's not there, right? So, will she have a menstrual cycle? No. Will she get sick? Will she get a headache? Will she throw up? Will she have body odor? Will she have bad breath? None of those things, right? She will be a beautiful woman, right? So, is there the concept of procreation as it is here, where you have this, and then the two come together, and then there's the mixing of the... No, that doesn't exist in heaven. Just like you don't urinate, you don't use feces, there's no feces. All of those things have been negated in authentic texts of the Prophet ﷺ, right? So, if you are there as a man in heaven, and you see this beautiful woman, the way we look at women here is not the way you will look. You will not look at her as, oh, this hot girl, and I just want to go take advantage of her physical thing. You might end up in a conversation and have some sensual, loving, affectionate, as it should be between a husband and a wife, right? There. And it will not be a matter of, ejaculation and things like this, right? It's just going to be a matter of some sort of a physical appreciation of the beauty of connectiveness through heaven, through the blessing and delight of heaven. So to try to make that relationship as something like a brothel is completely, absolutely apples and oranges. It's not the same, right? Now, I've heard more than one sheikh. It was funny in Kuwait because the sheikh, it was in Egypt the first time I heard it, was really funny. We were in the masjid, and after the question came after, and then the brother asked, the sister sent the question up, and the brother said, the sister's asking, we've heard about Hur Naim. Can, if these young men are, desirable, wildanun mukhalladun, in the Quran it talks about there were wildanun mukhalladun. There were young men who have been created in heaven. They're not people who were lived in life, and it's the same thing, but Hur Naim are women, wildanun mukhalladun are men. So the question is, if the woman wants to have some physical relation with him. So the sheikh says, he's like, the culture we have as Arabs is to say, la, she can't have no part of that. A righteous woman wouldn't even think like that. He said, but what we know from the Quran is, لَهُمْ مَا يَشَاءُونَ فِيهَا وَلَدَيْنَا مَزِيدٌ وَنَزَعْنَا مَا فِي صُدُورِهِمْ مِنْ غِلٍّ. She can engage him in a physical relationship however she likes, and the husband will be supportive and say, oh, mashallah, he's such a beautiful man, and have no problem with that. Is that understandable here on earth?
No.
It's not. Jealousy is ingrained in the human psyche. There is no jealousy there. And it's not a matter of, well, now I might have an illegitimate child and you're breaking our bond. No, our bond is eternal in front of God, and we're here in heaven, and this is just all the delights of heaven. If your wife keeps eating all of these things, what will you might advise her? as my wife, you know, we don't eat so much, you know, it's not good, you know, we get overweight or something like that, right? In heaven, if she wants to eat all day and forever, do we care about that? We will not, because there is no cholesterol, there's no diabetes, there's none of those things exist, right? The flaws of this world are not in heaven. So to try to judge heaven and its delights and pleasures by some sort of worldly, flawed, carnal standard is not acceptable. Wallah.